Hi, I'm Charlie with Precision Matthews, and today we're going to talk about the milling machine table. How do we care for it? What do we need to do to keep it clean, flat, and rust-free? I've got some opinions, so let's get started. Cleaning chips out of the T-slots is easiest if you keep them out in the first place. Here on our 1054 TV, we have the vise in the same place all the time, so we just cut out some pieces of plywood that fit around the base of the vise. You can also order the extruded rubber options from various places. We don't have any examples of that here, but I've used them before and they work pretty well, although I think they're a bit expensive for what you get. Choose your own path. Or live dangerously and just leave the slots open, like on our 728 that we have as a second spindle in our workshop, for when the knee mill is occupied. For cleaning the T-slots, I made this tool and threw an old file handle on it. It's what I use on the knee mill, but I don't actually have one that fits the smaller T-slots in the 728. So the alternative is to take the T-nut from the vise, leave it on the stud, and run it through to scrape the chips and gunk out. Next, a quick brush, spray it down with WD-40, then hit it with the rag to get 99% of the chips and dirt off. Then I run my hand over it to pick up any grime that the rag missed and to assess the condition of the table. This is a pretty new machine, so there aren't too many scratches, but there's enough that we'll hit it with the flat stone. This is a good example of a scratch that may need some attention. This is also one of those times when I get to say, it's hard to see on camera, but you can feel it with your fingers. Jeff the cameraman loves when I ask him to take close-up shots of minute scratches on reflective surfaces. He's having a great time. To help you understand what's happening here, we made some of these harebrained drawings. This is what it looks like from the side on a microscopic level when you have a scratch in the table. There's a valley in the middle and a small raised burr on either side of that valley. The valley isn't a problem, but the burr can be if it keeps your vise from sitting square on the table. With your flat, abrasive stone, you just come by and knock that burr off. It doesn't erase the scratch, as you can still see the valley, but it makes the scratch not matter, as the table is functionally flat again. A brief digression to talk about these flat stones. You can get diamond ground and lapped flat stones for a couple $100, or for a fraction of that cost, you can get 3 regular, not-so-flat stones and make them just as flat yourself. With the method I'm going to go over, it takes maybe 20 minutes to go from the box to ready to use. Now my time's valuable, but it isn't valuable enough to pass up 20 minutes of work to save $200. You get 3 identical stones and label them A, B, and C. Then you rub them together in a pattern that follows the Whitworth 3-plate method. I also like to put crosshairs on each stone so that I can turn them precisely as we go through the steps. For each pairing being lapped together, I like to turn the top stone a quarter turn 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then 3/8 of a turn to get them at 45 degrees from where we started. Then a quarter turn 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. That gets us 8 different clocked positions. Your motion doesn't need to be in any special direction, as long as you keep it the same every time and do roughly the same number of strokes in each clock position. Here I'm doing 8 strokes in each of the 8 clocked positions, which completes 1 cycle of A being lapped against B. Here's the series of pairings. When you're done with A on B, you flip the 2 stones over and lap B on A. Again, doing your set number of strokes in each of the 8 clock positions. Then B on C, C on B, C on A, and A on C. Then back to the beginning of the series to repeat. Once you get through this whole series, say 4 or 5 times, your stones will be flat enough to work on your mill table. After you've gone through this process to get them initially smooth and flat, you just need to rub them together periodically in random pairings to keep them that way. You can feel when your stone's flat enough because it'll glide over the surface of the table like an air hockey puck, and you'll only feel resistance where there's a ding or scratch in the table. That resistance is just the burr being ground off. leaving a nice flat surface. After I'm done getting stoned, I hit the WD-40 and the rag one more time to take off any stone dust that might be left behind. Don't neglect the bottom of your vise either. And for the love of God, don't just flip it over on the mill table that you just got nice and flat. The bottom of this vise looks pretty beat up because it is pretty beat up. But as long as there are no burrs on these scratches, it'll sit nice and straight on the table. Let's talk rust protection. You can just use more WD-40, but I like to finish my mill tables and a lot of my bare steel tools in general with CRC Ultralight 336. I like that it dries to a film that doesn't make a sludge of chips and swarf once you start machining. If I know the mill's going to be sitting for a while, I'll spray it with the PB Blaster Surface Shield. You could probably have your machine down by the seashore and it wouldn't rust with this. Just make sure you wipe it down before you use it, because this product does make a sludge of chips and swarf once you start machining. In the name of science, I sprayed the right side of the table with the heavy-duty PB Blaster and the left side with the CRC Ultralight. I let the table sit for a minute, seasoned liberally with aluminum chips, and you can see the results and which wipes away more easily. I think both sprays have their place, but use your judgment on which to use when. So there you have it. That's my opinion on the best way to care for your mill table. Now, a subject like this is a mixture of personal experience, material science, and superstition, so I welcome discussion on how you might do things differently from me. Do you have a better way to flatten out your stones? Do you use a spray protectant that you prefer over the products I mentioned? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.